Hey folks, I got a great recipe today. It's a Greek salad with chickpeas done in a mason jar. I loved it because it was simple ingredients. It had a tangy pickled red onion, which I absolutely loved. And it was a nice healthy recipe. It was good to eat and good for the on the run. And it's an affordable ingredients. Why don't you give it a try? It has great proteins. And as always, I have the recipe, the ingredients, and the instructions in on the comments. Let's get cooking and let's go. All right, folks, we're going to go ahead and make the pickled onions, red onions. This is a quick overnight version recipe. All we really need is one large onion, thinly sliced, right over there. Then we need 1 cup of hot water, which is boiling right now. And then we're going to get half a cup of apple cider, healthy apple cider right there. And then we're gonna do 1 tablespoon of sugar. I'm using the cane sugar. And then 1.5 teaspoons of salt. And then we're just gonna mix the brine, pour over the onions, and refrigerate overnight. I'm gonna put it in one of my mason jars. All right, folks, let's get going. Let's get this pickles ready for our recipe. I'm gonna be doing the salad jars tomorrow, so we're gonna get this ready today and overnight. Let's go. All right, got the brine water all heated up over there. We got the onion sliced and put into the jar already. So let's go ahead and add in half a cup of the apple cider vinegar, healthy for you. 1 tablespoon of the sugar. I'm using the cane sugar. And then some salt. So I'm gonna stir this around. Now I'm gonna go ahead and carefully put this into the mason jar. All right. So I'm gonna turn that around and let it sit for overnight, and we're gonna have some quick pickled onions for our healthy chickpea salad. All right, folks, let's go. All right, here we go. It's a Greek chickpea protein mason jar salad, and it's gonna be 4 mason jars. All right, let's get started with a Greek vinaigrette, and it's gonna be the bottom layer. And we're gonna do a half a cup of olive oil. We're gonna do a 1/4 cup of the red vinegar. And then we're gonna do the 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. Then we're gonna go ahead and do 1 tablespoon of the Dijon mustard, right over there. Then we're gonna do 1.5 teaspoons of the oregano, right over there. Then we're gonna do the teaspoon of honey. Then we're gonna do 1 garlic clove. Then we're gonna do the 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Then we're gonna do 1/4 teaspoon of the black pepper right over here. And then for the layers, we're gonna do 2 cans of chickpeas, 15 ounces each, drained and rinsed. I used a Goya. And then we're gonna do 1 large English cucumber diced, right there. Then we're gonna do 1 cup of cherry tomatoes halved, right over there. And then we're gonna do 1/2 cup of the Clemente olives, right over there, sliced Greek. And then we're gonna do 1.5 cups of the crumbled feta cheese, right over there. And then we're gonna do 8 cups of the baby spinach. And then I'm gonna do the 1 to 1.5 cups of the quick pickled red onions, already pickled overnight. All right, let's get started. Let's go ahead and get the vinaigrette started and get a nut tossed together. Then we chop up the olive or the cucumber. Then we chop up the tomatoes. And then we'll mince the garlic. Let's go. All right, folks, let's go ahead and make our Greek vinaigrette. This is going to go on the bottom layer of the bottle, our mason jar. And then we're going to mix it all together when it's time to eat. Let's go ahead and start with a half a cup of the olive oil. Right over here, half a cup. Then we're going to go ahead and do a quarter cup of the red wine vinegar. Then we're going to go ahead and do 1 tablespoon of the lemon juice. And then we're going to go ahead and do 1 tablespoon of the Dijon mustard. Alright, let's get that in there. The Dijon mustard is going to give it a nice flavoring. I tell you, I love the Dijon mustard in there. Then we're going to go ahead and do 1.5 teaspoons of the oregano. I'm going to go ahead and guesstimate that over there. All right. Then we're going to do the Dijon, or let's see, the honey. 1 teaspoon of the honey. This is half a teaspoon right here. All right, let's get another half a teaspoon and a little bit extra. All right, this is optional. It's gonna balance the acidity of it. It's gonna balance it out. Then we're gonna go ahead and do the garlic clove minced right over here. Then we're gonna do half a teaspoon of the salt. I'm doing fine sea salt right here. Half a teaspoon. All right. And then we're going to do a 1/4 teaspoon of the black pepper. Yeah, there you go. I think we're good. And we're going to go ahead and look at how it's not mixed up there. So we're going to go ahead and mix this up. Then we're going to set it aside and chop up the cucumber, the cherry tomatoes, and that's it. So we'll be back in a moment. I'll go ahead and get this stirred around some more, get it mixed up nicely. Let's go, folks. All right, folks, here we go. Here's where the magic happens. We're going to assemble the salads. We got the 4 jars, 1, 2, 3, and 4. We got the vinaigrette, and we're going to add in 3 to 4 tablespoons of vinaigrette per bottle. 1, 2, it's going to take a bit, but we have time. That's 1 for each jar. 2, 2, 2, and 2. 3, and 3, and 3, and 3. Let's do about half. 1, 3.5, 3.5, 3.5, 3.5. A little bit more in there, like in number 3. There, and the rest goes into here. All right, so we got the vinaigrette done in there. Now we're going to put in the chickpeas as it doesn't soak up the juice. And we're going to be doing about 1/3 cups each. 1/3 cups each. I'm going to do approximately half a can per jar. All we're gonna go ahead and do the cucumbers. About half a cup of cucumbers per jar. Let's get the cucumbers up here. And let's go a little bit here, a little bit here. Nicely chopped cucumbers, English cucumbers. Here and here. And let's do a little bit more. Here and here and here and here. And we're going to just top it off some more. Let's get some more in number 2, a little bit more in 3, a little bit more in 1, and the rest goes to 4. All right, got the cucumbers in there. Now let's go ahead and get the cherry tomatoes, about a 1/4 cup each. This is a cup right here. So let's do a little bit here, a little bit here. It's gonna be a good salad, I can tell. A little bit here, a little bit more than a little bit there. Let's get a little bit more over here. And let's get backtrack over here and then one over here. All right, got the tomatoes in there, cherry tomatoes. Let's add in the Clemente olives, about 2 tablespoons each. There we go. 1, 2, 1, 2. As I started cooking, I've been really interested in enjoying this Greek type of recipes, so this has been really good. All right, got all 4 with the. Now we're going to add on about a 1/4 cup of feta cheese each. I like to get a little bit extra because I love the feta cheese. If that was over the sauce, that would soak it up really good, but we don't want it to soak it up, so that's why we have it closer to the top. Let's do another round, a little bit more. A little bit more. A little bit more. And we're almost done with the cheese, feta cheese. All right, got some left over. And then let's go ahead and add in the pickled red onions. Let me get a fork for that. Here's a beautiful pickled red onions right here. Let's go ahead and add in a little bit here, a little bit here. Ooh, no, getting kind of anxious here. Let's go ahead and be careful. Get that over here. I think this is what's going to make the recipe special, is this pickled red onions. I love red onions to begin with, and you pickle it on top, it makes it even better. All right, and now we're going to top layer. We're gonna finish up the, let me get this out of our way. We're gonna finish it up with the spinach. There we go. I try to use my recipes the spinach versus the lettuce. I personally believe there's more nutrients, health benefits associated with the spinach. So that's why I do that. Add in some more. Pack it in there nicely. Pack it in there nicely. go. All right, I think we're doing good. All right, a little bit messy, but here's our lunch for the week. Nice, healthy Greek recipe with chickpeas. So it's vegetarian, not vegan, but vegetarian. All right, folks. I appreciate you watching as always. And like I mentioned before, the recipe, the ingredients, and the instructions will be in the comments. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you very, very much. And if you got any value from this recipe and or the video, please consider liking, subscribing, or commenting. I'm a small channel, so every little bit matters and makes a big difference for me. I appreciate you being here. And as always, believe in yourself, keep cooking, and let's go.